Hello all you Spoonies out there, this is Mallory here at Kansas State University. For those of you that watched a video back in May of me making banana bread French toast sticks, well, school's back in session, so I'm back as well. But today we're going to be inspired by chocolate chip cookies. So I don't know about the rest of you, but when I was a kid I'd dip the cookies in the milk and then the cookie would like crumble and be soggy and fall to the bottom of your milk, but then you got to drink it at the end and it was delicious. So inspired by that, we're going to make milk and cookies poke cake today. And the first thing we're going to do is put a handful of these cookies in this milk, and it's just going to sit there, and it's the best part. It's the only way to start. So there they are. They're just going to hang out while we start making the cake. It's the start of a beautiful thing. All right. So I don't have a hand mixer at school, but you could use one of those if you do. I do have a mini food processor. It's a beautiful purchase. It was like $20 maybe. And we're going to start with some granulated sugar. We have half a cup. And we also have a quarter cup of butter. Good thing I didn't spill my milk. I would have had nothing after that. But we got to make a mess, right? That's what the kitchen's for. All right, so with our softened butter and our sugar, we're just going to whiz it up real quick. And what you're going to want to see is it kind of looks like that moon sand stuff. If anyone played with that as a child, this is what it's going to look like. So the sugar and butter are incorporated together. And now we're also going to add 1 egg. It's at room temperature. It helps combine everything a little bit better, but if you have a cold egg, that's okay too. Don't put it in the microwave. Just take it as it is. I'm going to blend this up now. I like to dance when I use the food processor. It makes the time go by. Alright, so as you can see, it's pretty much just a cohesive egg and butter sugar mixture. And now we're going to add our cookies. And the cookies are pretty soft and already disintegrating in the milk, which is exactly what we want. But just to make sure they really get incorporated, we're going to blend this in the food processor as well.
What can you use if you're a college student and you don't have a food processor?
If you don't have, that's really sad. I'd send you one, but I don't have money for it. If you don't have a food processor, you can always use a fork and just blend the sugar and butter together. You probably need your butter to be a little bit softer in order for that to work, but I've used a fork many times and a whisk. Those work great, and they're really accessible and work really well. All right. So we have the start of our batter. As you can see, this is all of our liquids in here. And we're going to add the dry mix. So in here I have baking soda, baking powder, and salt, the essential dry mix that we'll add with our all-purpose flour. We got 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Gonna mix them up a little bit in our food processor and make it a mess, as I do best. That's the way to do it. You want to be careful not to overmix the batter once you add the flour because it will get really tough and the glutens will be overdeveloped, and that's a tough cake and no one wants that. Be a tough cookie, not a tough cake. No slogan that. That's great. Alright, so right here I have a greased loaf pan and we're going to add our cookie batter. If you look at it, it actually looks kind of like cookie dough or some kind of like concoction that would be a cookie dough milkshake or something like that. Smells like cookie dough. It's delicious.
If anyone in the audience has questions, feel free to shout out and we will have your question answered.
Yeah, got a ton of knowledge, kind of. At 21 years, I've got as much as I can. Otherwise, I'll help make something up with you. It'll be great.
How'd you come across this recipe?
I made it up myself, tested it out, so I know it's actually going to work. But I was just being inspired by those cookies and milk. You can really... Taking those child inspirations is like one of my favorite things. So, got to recreate the flavors, but in a little more adult ways.
And does this recipe include gluten, dairy,
Yes, we have both gluten and dairy, no peanuts. All-purpose flour, so there's your gluten, and there's milk and eggs and butter, but you can use coconut oil, you can use any milk substitute. Almond milk would work good, coconut milk. And for eggs, you can always use flaxseed, soak them in a little bit of water. That will bind your cake or anything together.
Will you be posting what ingredients you're using after this?
Yes, we'll have all the measurements and the posts on Spoonie University after the episode has concluded. Alright, so now that we have our cake, I'm going to tap it a little bit just to make sure that no air bubbles are inside of it. and they look good. So we're gonna put it in the oven. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees, and it's gonna bake for about 25 to 30 minutes depending on how hot your oven runs. Make sure to check it.
What would be some healthy substitutions to make this diet friendly?
I love using bananas for a fat, or avocados work really well too. You could do like a chocolate avocado cake. Bananas would work well for the butter, same with the avocado. Applesauce is also a good substitute for that. Definitely important to keep healthy and to enjoy your sweets, but don't want to ruin the waistline of the budget too much with that either. All right, I'm going to clean up a little bit. My friend Gabby's going to join us as well to help us create this cake.
Hello.
There she is. Did anyone remember her from the last episode?
Mallory, there's a question. When did you first start baking?
I started baking in probably the 2nd or 3rd grade. I made some special cake cookies. They didn't require an oven, so it's just melting peanut butter and butterscotch chips together, putting them in the fridge, and I thought I was a pretty good baker, but there was actually no baking involved. But it's a great way to get started and just doing anything that you like, or I made it for my family. That was the start of great things. And then shortbread cookies came along where I could use an oven and just kind of expanded from there.
I'm a really bad chef, so it's really nice to have friends like Mallory because she'll just come over to your house with cake for you. It's great.
For no reason.
For no reason.
To eat it.
Literally. Last night she was testing this out and she brought it over to my house and I was like, hey, can I have more please?
Yeah, tomorrow, spoon
Yeah.
live. All right, so here's what a baked cake will look like. This is about 27 minutes in my oven. Nice golden brown on the top. And because we greased it, it's going to come out really well. But the first thing we're going to do is poke the cake because it's a poke cake. So for anyone that doesn't know, poke cakes, you actually bake it first, let it set. This one's set for about half an hour just to cool slightly. And then you just make a bunch of holes and you think you're destroying the cake, but you're just about to make it a lot better.
How many calories are in this cake of yours?
Depending on how big your serving is, this could serve 8 people or 4, depending on how hungry you are. It's going to be about 200 calories per serving, but with substitutions, you can definitely alter that. Or if you eat the whole thing, just think of it as one serving. It's like in one loaf pan, you know?
Rachel asks if we're in a kitchen at school, and is it easy to bake in college?
Yes, I'm at my college house right now, actually. When I was in the dorms, it was pretty hard to bake, just because we only had one kitchen for everyone in the residence hall. And they had their own utensils and everything, and you don't know the last time it was cleaned, the last time it was used. So that was a little more difficult, but I used my microwave a lot, and I would make things that would just like the no-bake special cake cookies I talked about, where you don't need an oven or a stove to make it. You can just use your microwave and your fridge. So definitely find those inspirations. If you ever have questions about that kind of stuff, feel free to send an email or to comment on here, and I'm happy to give you some advice on that as well. It's hard to do it in college sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, so the second part of the poke cake, now that we've poked it, is to make the liquid that we're going to pour over all the holes. So, Gabby, go for it.
See, chef, that's me. Do I do all of it?
No.
Is that too much?
That's okay. We'll just take a couple. It's good. This is what friends are for,
Right?
for each other.
Okay.
Just kind of mix it up. It's going to get a little soggy.
Soggy.
Yeah, that's what we need, though.
Soggy.
Ethan asks, how much cooking experience do you have?
I just have learned everything from trial and error, basically, for myself. I'm obsessed with reading or watching things about food and learning more about it. I'm in a couple classes at school that talk about the science of food, but everything that I've learned cooking-wise is just homemade and giving to your family and friends. It's the best way to test people out, too. People will always take free food. In college?
Yeah, and and people will be honest, too.
Oh,
so.
yeah, it's good. It's a good way to get honest feedback, because if it's someone you don't know very well, they're not going to
How
be
much
afraid
am I
to
supposed to mix this up?
just keep going.
Okay.
You know, it's like the cookies in the bottom of the glass. You just keep going.
Della asks, what are we pouring over the cake?
So it's a mixture of milk and cookies that we put together, and it kind of looks like cookie dough more, like just a really soggy cookie, or like Cookie Crisp, like that cereal that you'd eat with milk. Kind of looks like what it would be, just mixed up a little bit more. And we're going to put it over our cake. It's going to make it a lot softer and really fluffy, and really infuse the milk and cookies into our cake. Even though it's been baked in, we don't want to lose that flavor. So this is the...
Are we going to put it in the processor?
Yeah, we're going to
Okay.
put it in this food processor.
Cool.
Magic bullet. You can. Otherwise,
Oh,
if you
God.
are, you got it. I believe in you.
Do you have?
I'll hold it.
Okay.
Yes, this is good.
Yay. I
You
Teresa,
did it.
Teresa asks, what's your favorite cake or cookie?
I love almond shortbread cookies. Almond extract is one of my favorite flavors, but a lot of people don't have almond cookies, which is really sad. So I have to make it myself. Scones are probably my favorite baked good though. There's a place here in Manhattan, Kansas that after 8 o'clock they sell $1 scone muffins and cinnamon rolls. So it's pretty dangerous. I walk there though, so it's okay. You know, it works out. So we're gonna blend this up really quick just to make sure it's a little more blended together, the milk and the cookies. But if you're okay with it being a little chunkier and have the chocolate chips in it, that's good too. Simple as that. Now we have like chocolate chip milk.
That's
This should be
cool.
its own thing. Just like drink this. You don't even need to put it in anything. Beautiful. Okay, you want to do that on our gas?
Oh my god. Okay.
I trust you. Just kind of pour it evenly over
Evenly?
everything. Because
Back and forth, or do I just?
Yeah, if you want to go back and
Oh
forth.
god.
You're good. You got it.
Do I got it? Okay.
Yes, you do.
Okay. Thanks for having faith in me, pal.
You got to. That's what pals are for. All right.
Oh my god, this
Beautiful.
looks
It
so
It
good.
looks delicious. All right, so we're gonna kind of shake it up a little bit just so it's evenly distributed. But Gabby did a great job of doing that. And now we're gonna set it in the freezer for about 5 minutes just for it to set up fully. You could also do it in the fridge for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but we don't have that time, so we gotta expedite this and put it in the freezer.
Gabby, what's your favorite cake or cookie?
Oh, I don't know. I love chocolate so much. So like chocolate lava cake just sounds like heaven to me. I could probably eat my weight in chocolate, which is
Not a bad
probably
thing.
not good. Nah, you know, like, it's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just a thing.
Yeah.
How long does the cake stay good in the fridge, Della asks.
I would say just for a day or two. It's pretty moist. There's a lot of dairy and everything in there that you wouldn't want it to sit too long. It will get a little more watery and separated after a while. So I would say a day or two, or just find a bunch of friends and share the day up.
Seriously,
That's what I
yeah.
found. Because then it doesn't go to waste.
She made one and last night and it was gone in like 5 seconds.
Spencer asked, do you have any stories about total baking fails?
Yes. Once I forgot that I turned the timer off. The bad thing about timers is like you have to reset them. And one time I turned the timer off, but I didn't reset the timer. And I like went about my day and did things. And I came back and I had brownies that were so dark. Like it looked like I used some really good bittersweet dark chocolate, but it was like milk chocolate brownies that were just burnt to a complete crisp and just disintegrated. And the house didn't smell good either. My parents weren't very happy. I think they were out of town. Sorry, Mom and Dad. Hopefully they're not watching this. All right, so the next step of the poke cake is the frosting, and we're just going to do it really simple as well. Anything really works, but this is not going to be sweetened because we have enough sweetness in the cake by itself. So this is just a cup of heavy cream, and once again, because I don't have a hand mixer, we're going to put it in this Handy Dandy Magic Bullet, and in like 2 seconds, we're going to have whipped cream. That's the noise we're looking for.
That's the noise.
Yes.
Oh, this is so cool.
Hopefully
I
can get it
literally
off.
don't know anything about cooking. In the last episode, I said I eat mac and cheese like all the time because that's one of the only things I can make. Sandwiches. I eat a lot of sandwiches.
Potato salad. That's a good one.
Potato salad that I don't make, that I stole from a picnic.
So this is what our whipped cream looks like. It's pretty cool. It's a frosting all on its own. No sugar added to this. Very simple, very easy. Let's see how our cake is doing.
Which treat do you bake best, said Nicholas.
I really like making truffles, like candy bars into truffle forms. So that might have to be like a new episode
Yeah.
of just making those. I make these Snickers ones with this homemade caramel whipped cream, and then you like freeze them, dip them in peanuts, dip them in caramel, dip them in chocolate, and it's pretty fun. I like that one. You can be creative, and you don't need like a full recipe because there's no baking involved, so it's not about proportions, it's just about the flavor.
Also, Mal, how often will you be doing a live feed on Spoon?
Every week, 5 o'clock Central Time on Tuesday, we will be here, live at 5.
I might not always be here, but she will.
She'll be there in spirit no matter what. And the other fun thing we'd love to open up to everyone that's watching or listening is we want your inspiration of things that you've cooked when you were a child or things that your parents made for you and these memories that you've had and things that you want to recreate in a new way with the same flavors and the same smells. Shoot those down in the comments, and then I'm going to try to create some recipes based on that. Then we can all kind of have a piece of home wherever we are in the country. That's the goal.
For this recipe, what is your advice to vegans who need a replacement for eggs?
I would do flaxseed. If you add just like a teaspoon of that with a little bit of water and just let it sit, it will become nice and it will hold the cake together. That's the goal. That's what the egg does. It's the binder. So the flaxseed will replace that. Really good question. All right. So now we have this, and we're going to put our whipped cream over the top. Now, gotta make a mess. That's the only way to cook, right? Oh my gosh. Whipped cream everywhere. Okay. So the next part is the decorating of the cookie cake. So now we're just gonna put some
chocolate
cookies.
chips too?
Yeah, let's do it.
Why is it called poke cake?
So before we put the cake in the freezer, we actually poked it with a fork, and then we put this cookie milk over it. And because we poked it, it absorbed all of that extra moisture, and we literally just like poked the cake. And you think you're wrecking it because it looks really weird when you do that, but then it all just absorbs that extra milk, and that's great. Look at that.
Look.
Go for it. As many chocolate chips as you want.
Oh, heck yeah. Love chocolate chips.
People are asking, what's your favorite dish to make in dorms? Maybe the easiest?
I actually liked making homemade mac and cheese. Like, instead of buying the Easy Mac stuff, I'd do it myself because all you need is a microwave. And I bought these little microwavable dishes and dry pasta by itself and just a whole crap ton of cheese and put that together, and that's all you needed. Really simple, way better because there's not all that like extra cheese dust, which, I mean, the cheese dust is good. There's some days you like just want that really good cheese that's not real cheese, but there's some days you just need real good mac and cheese, so that's what I would do. Really fun.
Will we always be baking every week?
No, we're gonna make real food too, even though baking is considered. I mean, like, this could be dinner, depending on the person
I
that you
know
are.
who you are.
Yeah,
Especially
some
at
people-
college.
You got carbs, you got protein, you got dairy, you got plants from the chocolate. That's a plant. Cocoa. Yeah, that's a thing. So you got everything you need right here. But yes, we'd love to make food that you can have for lunch, dinner, breakfast as well. So put those in the comments, anything that you'd like to see, any recipe ideas that you have, and we'll kind of create it based off that. Yeah. Okay. Gabby did a great job decorating this.
Go me.
And the longer you let the poke cake sit, the better it's going to be. It will absorb it even more. So this one's going to just be like pure, unadulterated cookie milk with the cake. But if you need to let it sit a little longer, it will work. It all works.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this looks really good.
Cutting into the cake.
I made sure
You evenly...
I ate a small lunch too. So
Yeah,
I could
just for
eat
this. And you evenly distributed the cookies and the chocolate chips so
It's a
well.
Christmas miracle.
Okay, let's see how we can do this.
Okay.
Want to open it up? Yeah. There's two
Yeah.
there.
Oh,
They're
What
happening.
occasions would this be ideal for?
This would be great if you went to like a potluck, if you had some kind of movie night, this would work for
literally
anything.
anything. We just had like a regular meeting last night for some theater event, and
It
she
works for
brought
that.
this. Yep. Oh my gosh, that looks so good.
The cake. It's still warm too, that's the best time to eat cake, right?
And do you always leave it in the fridge for 5 minutes, or is there a better time?
It was in the freezer for 5 minutes, but you could do the fridge for like half an hour, even longer. It will still just get better, and the flavors will melt even more the longer it sits. It's kind of like tres leches, if you've ever had that, the similar idea of pouring the milk over it and letting it sit and just absorb. I'm so excited. Okay, there's only one. Want to just eat with your hands? I'm just kidding. I'll give you a fork. This one's
Thanks,
plastic.
Dal. Oh.
What are some good things to eat with this dish?
This would be a great dessert after you could have after mac and cheese. That'd be a nice thing. Like, you have mac and cheese and some chocolate chip cookies afterwards. That'd be really good. Or like a late night snack if you're hungry. That's the nice thing about it sitting is you can make this after dinner or when you're making dinner, let it sit. And then after dinner, once you've like digested, it's already there waiting for you. You don't have to make anything.
It's so
again.
warm. It tastes so good.
Okay, here we go. You gotta make sure you get everything in the one bite.
I'm so content right now.
It really tastes like milk and cookies, but like deconstructed
As a kid.
and reconstructed.
And would you say these ingredients are rather simple? People would have this at home?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we use really basic stuff, just the flour, butter, sugar, eggs, and then chocolate chips and the cookies, and the milk, obviously. But those are things that stay really well. They keep long if you put them in the right containers. And, yeah, not expensive stuff either.
What's your verdict, Gabby?
It's very good.
Better than last night.
I mean, both. It tastes about the same. It's pretty good. I love it.
All right, friends. I'm right on my big bite. Well, thank you for tuning in so much. We hope you enjoyed this and you're inspired to make it. And make sure you comment with more inspirational ideas than what you want to see in the next episode. Bye.